Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi Mem Gimel in Yevamos. We're on the top line. Amar le. Yesterday we had Rabbi Yehuda walking along with Rabbi Nachum. Rabbi Nachum was his shamus, his attendant, who asked him some questions regarding how to paskin halachos. Rabbi Yehuda tells him, look, whenever we have a stam mishnah, a mishnah presented without a name, an anonymous mishnah, it's an indication that Rabbi HaKadosh, who compiled the mishnayos, is trying to indicate to us that the halacha adopts the view in that mishnah. Amar le, says the Gemara on the top line. Amar le, Rabbi Nachum responds to Rabbi Yehuda. Well, it's none. But listen to this mishnah in Maseches Kelim. Masrek shel pishtan, you have a comb used to comb flax. Shenitlu shinav, some of its teeth went missing. Here we're speaking about the halachos of mekabel tuma. When is it considered a kli? What constitutes utensil? So it's missing some teeth. Is it still a kli? Is it still susceptible to tuma? Two teeth were left over. Tmeyes. It is still considered a kli. It's still a functioning entity. You can still use it to comb your flax. V'achas is only one left over. Tahira. Going forward, it's not a kli. It's useless. V'kulan shenitlu. Achas. Bifnei atzman. Now we're speaking about the teeth themselves, which were removed from the handle. So you have one pick over here, one tooth, tmeyes. It is makabel tuma. Why? Explains Rashi. It's roi to be used as a pick to clean out the lamp, etc., etc. So even one tooth, a loose tooth of that comb, is considered a pick, a kli. Vishal tzemer. You have a comb used to comb wool. Shenitlu shinav achas bentayim, which is missing sort of every other tooth. Tahar, no longer a kli. It's no longer a functioning entity. Nishtayru by gimel b'makam echad. You have three teeth situated together, in which case it can still be used as a comb. Tummy, it's still a kli mekabel tum. But hoisachitzoin achas man, you have three teeth, but one of these three teeth happens to be the exterior one of the comb. On both ends of the comb, you have sort of wider teeth to enclose the inner teeth. So that outer tooth is not really functionable, and therefore we don't count it in as one of the three. And therefore it's tahar. Nitlu base. Two teeth were removed from the handle. V'asan lemalket. And he adjusted them. He formed them into a malket, into some sort of tweezers. Tmeyes. They're considered a kli and makabel tuma. But if it's only achas, he only has one tooth, a loose tooth, v'yiskina, but he actually adjusted it to be used laner or lemituach, to clean out his lamp, or to tie some string on it or material and stretch the material using these pegs, using these clips and these picks. In any case, he adjusted them, he formed them, he designed them for this purpose. Tmeya, okay. Until now it was part of a comb, now it's a pick. End quote. That's the Mishnah. So what's the kasha? The Kaimelan, we know for a fact. We know this b'mesoira, the ein halacha ka'isa Mishnah. Halacha does not adopt the view in this Mishnah, even though it's a stam Mishnah. Amar leis, Rabbi Yehuda responds, Bar mina dahi. Leave that Mishnah out of the fold. Let's not discuss it. Why? There is some inherent inaccuracies within that Mishnah itself, which indicates that it's not a Mishnah to follow, regardless. The Rabbi Yechanan, very Shlakish. The Amri Tavayu, both of these Amoraim will tell us, Zoy Eini Mishnah. This is not a reliable, accurate Mishnah. My time, what's wrong with the Mishnah? Amar Rav Huna bar Manoich Mishmei Rav Idi Brei Rav Ika. You know why? Mishum the Kasha, Reshel Seif. Look closely, you'll find an inherent contradiction between first part of the Mishnah and the second part. Tektani shal tzemer shenitlu. Shinav achas benetayim tor. You say that a comb used to comb out wool, which is missing every other tooth, achas benetayim is tor. Let's make a diuk. We can imply from here, if you have two side by side, you have two teeth intact, it's okay, it's still useful. Then you come back and tell me, no, 3 teeth side by side intact is still a functioning entity, but less than 3 would not serve that purpose. Gimel in 3, yes. Shtaim loy, but not 2. And you just told me 2 is enough. Umay kushi, why is this a difficulty? Dilma habig of yasa, habig riyasa. Depends where those teeth are situated. Maybe the ones that are not really considered. When we say that 2 isn't enough and you need 3, we're speaking of riyasa, the ones towards the outer edge of the comb, not opposite the handle, in which case it's more difficult to handle and to maneuver. And there you need 3. But begavyasa, the inner ones, meaning opposite the handle, which can be easily maneuvered and are more convenient, in that case perhaps 2 is enough. So this wouldn't be a kasha. It's pretty clear why we differentiate between this case and that. Elamihacha, rather this is going to be the kasha in the Mishnah. To indicate that it's unreliable. The Mishnah says. If the teeth were removed, those teeth can be used as picks. They're a kli, they're makabel. Va'afagav, delayit kina. It sounds like it's just an automatic transition from comb to pick. Even if he hadn't really reformed it or redesigned it. A tooth can become a pick. Toothpick. Ema seifa. Says the Gemara, okay, let's move on to the next part of the rice. Achas v'iskinul in there. If he has one tooth which got dislodged on this comb, and he actually was masakin it, adjusted it to be used as a nair, for the nair, or the mituach, for this mituach stretching thing, tameya. Then, if he designed it, he reshaped it, then it's designated for this purpose. His skina in, but only if he did that. Lo yiskina lay, but if he just left it intact, as is, removed from the comb, and he wants to use it as it, lo, it's not makabel tuma. So which way is it? Does he have to actually do something to it? Or leave it as is? Amar Abaye, umay kushi, why is this a kasha? Dilma, maybe it depends what type of tooth this is. Habiketayu, if it still has its base attached to it, so the tooth is sort of inserted into this base within the handle. So if the base comes along with it, in which case that base can sort of serve as a handle to this pick. So in that case, it can serve its purpose right away. You can use it to clean the nair, etc. But if the tooth itself just got dislodged without bringing along its base, it's just a plain tooth, that wouldn't automatically qualify as a pick unless you actually do something to show, to enhance its functionability. Amra Papa, another teretz, umay kushya. Why is this a kasha? Vidilma, perhaps the difference is habika tinta, habalimta. Depends how thick, how sturdy, how impressive this tooth is. If it's just a small, little, flimsy tooth, no, it doesn't automatically serve as a pick unless you actually are masakin it for that purpose. Habalimta, if it's a thick, sturdy tooth, as soon as it gets dislodged from that comb, it can automatically be transitioned into service and can serve as a pick. In any case, we have no kashas in the Mishnah. Everything's clear and reliable. What then? Ella, rather. Why don't we paskin like this Mishnah, which seems to be a stam Mishnah without a name? Mishum de Mesaimim, but Davkani, there were those Davkanim, Rashi learns, the Medaikim, those who learn and present halachis very accurately. They're very medaik. So they have a version which concludes as follows. After the Mishnah, we have Zuh Divir Rabbi Shimon. Guess what? It's Rabbi Shimon. This is not a stam Mishnah. Therefore, we don't have to paskin like it. It's not a stam Mishnah. Okay, getting back to our sugi. between marriages, there is a 3-month wait. And actually, the Tanna Kama maintains this period, this wait period, applies to any situation. Whether she was already married, in which case there's a chashash that perhaps she's expecting from husband number one, or even if she was just engaged. It applies whether she's trying to get married, in which case there's a chashash of zera from husband number two, which might be confused with husband number one, as we explained the other day. Or if she's just trying to get engaged and not yet married. We don't differentiate. Shalach Rav Chia bar Avin. Here's a chiddush. True, 100%. We wait even prior to engagement. But it's not so simple. It's not so simple. That's Shitas Tanna Kama. We had Shitas Rabbi Yossi. In fact, Rabbi Yechon Paskin like Rabbi Yossi when it comes to situations where we don't really have a tangible, practical concern. She's going to get engaged, that's it. In this case, we don't have to apply the 3-month wait period, and that's how this Shita holds as well. Shalach Rav Chia bar Avin, he sent halacha, ma'arsen techkimu, you can get engaged within 3 months. V'chein oisim mas, in fact, I myself saw Chachamim being lenient, disregarding the 3-month wait period pertaining to engagement. Likewise, Rabbi Lezer would teach us that although it seems like he did apply the 3-month wait period, but there's room to be lenient. You see, after all, there isn't really a practical concern of confusion. There is no marriage taking place, in which case you confuse the kids. You'll be confused regarding the identity of the child. You won't know whether he's Reuven's child or Shem. She's trying to get engaged. But we still apply the halacha of 3 chadash. We don't want to differentiate because it might lead to marriage. We do erusin on account of nesun, but still we could be lenient as long as it appears like 3 months. It's packaged as such. That's okay. And therefore he says, Rubi shal rishon, as long as you have most of the first month. V'rubi shal shlishi, most of the third. V'mitzoy shalom, middle month is full. That's okay. Amei mar shara li oris b'yom tishim. He wasn't so makel. You need a full 3 months, but you know what? Typically, you need 90 months between former husband's departure and the upcoming marriage. You need 90 months between both events. When it comes to getting engaged, we are makel. You can get engaged on day 90. So basically, we have 3 approaches to erusin. Either disregard the halacha period completely, no need to wait 3 months, because practically there's no zera from the second husband at this point. Or perhaps we do need 3 months, but we can be makel, most, and full middle. And the third shita is actually makel, but not so much. He says, look, you need 90 days, but you can get going on day 90. How can you allow erusin on day 90? They both tell us, you need to wait a full 3 months. Not counting day of Reuven's death, not counting day of Shimon's engagement. So how can you get going on day 90? Answers the Gemara. No. That's unrelated to the halacha of waiting 3 months between marriages. That's a totally different halacha. Halacha is that one may not marry an isha who is nursing a child who she bore from husband number one. We discussed this yesterday. In that case, they have to wait until the nursing period is over, completely over. As Rabbi Shmuel both tell us, she needs to wait 24 months, which is typically the zman of nursing. Chutz, we don't count. Chutz miyom shenolad boy, aside from the day he was born. V'chutz miyom shenis arsa boy, not counting the day that she wants to get engaged. So when it comes to nursing, it's very understandable. It's a very practical consideration. You have to wait until he's done nursing. You have to wait a full 24 months. But when it comes to the 3-month wait period pertaining to erusin, remember, erusin is not really a true concern. She's only getting engaged. She's not going to mix up the So in that case, we need to appear like there is 3 months. It has to look like she's conforming, right? And therefore, there's room for leniencies. Asks the Gemara, what do you mean? Vahu da'avat sudas eris. And there was this fellow who conducted a party, engagement party, b'yom tishim, on day 90. Va'afsadei Rabbi L'Sadase. Rabbi took away. He says, you can't enjoy your meal. That's it. He was mafsid. All his whole investment went down the drain. Says the Gemara, he sudas nesuin avoy. No, that wasn't eris. That was marriage. Totally different thing. When she gets married to the second husband, there's a real concern of misidentifying the children. You need to wait a full 3 months. Why? As we explained yesterday, 3 months affords you the ability to discern whether or not she's pregnant. You can't cut corners. What's the halacha l'maisa? When it comes to a nursing mother, it needs to be a full 24 months. Aside from the day of Reuven's death, aside from the day she wants to get engaged to Shimon. That's when it comes to nursing. And likewise, when it comes to Erisin, we're not machalik between marriage and Erisin. 3 months are 3 months are 3 months. But tzricha lahamten gimel chadashim chutz miyom shemeisboy v'chutz miyom shenis arsaboy. Likewise, when it comes to Erisin, it's to be a full 3 months. Continues the Gemara. Chutz min almana. Let's go back to the Mishnah. We had Tanakama who says, you know what? Gimel Chadashim applies to all Nashim equally. Whether or not there is a real practical, tangible concern of misidentifying the offspring. So either it's Grusha, Bu'ula, Besula, Grusha, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We're not Machalk. We keep things simple and consistent. Rabbi Yehuda says no. It only applies when there is a real chashash of misidentification. Therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says, look, she was previously married to Reuven, there's a chashash of Reuven's child coming forth, then she shouldn't marry Shimon right away, but she can get engaged to Shimon. There's no concern of Zerah from Shimon. Likewise, she was only engaged to Reuven previously. She can proceed and remarry immediately because there's no chashash of Zerah from Reuven. Rabbi Yossi adds one thing. He says, look, I allow women to get engaged except from an almana, a widow. Why? Mipnei ibul. It's not appropriate. She shouldn't be getting engaged within that 30-day mourning period. Asks the Gemara, really? That's a concern? Engagement? That's not a real simcha. By the way, engagement over here means kiddushin, right? It doesn't generate simcha like marriage. Why is that asur during the 30-day avelus of the almana? Amar Rav Chizda. In fact, I'll have a couple chayma to prove otherwise. I'll find you a time throughout the year, the week of Tisha B'Av. You may not do laundry, but you can get engaged. So you see, Erisin is not on the same level as laundry and all that. Certainly, during the first 30 days of Avelus, that you're allowed to. Once it's past the Shiva, you're allowed to do laundry. Certainly, Erisin is allowed. Isn't this a solid kavachemer? Why would Rabbi Yossi tell us otherwise? What are you basing this on? What's the halacha you're coming from? Tisha B'Av, let's see. It's not. Shabbos Shechal Tisha B'Av B'Soicha, the week which feature is Tisha B'Av, that week. Asur Saper, one may not take a haircut. Ulachabis, do laundry. Ubachamishi mutar mipnei kavod. Shabbos on Thursday it's allowed on account of honoring the Shabbos. V'tanya, we learned in the Brayso. So koydem azman hazeh. The Gemara figures at this point that this term koydem, before hazman hazeh, this time means before Tisha B'Av, meaning the week of Tisha B'Av. Ha'am mamat and b'iskeim. People minimize their interactions, their transactions, melisa melite, doing business, minimize their building and their planting, but you could get engaged. Even the Shabbos of Tisha B'Av, the week of Tisha B'Av. But marriage is not allowed. Likewise, although you can be Mekadosh and Isha, Rashi says the lav simchai u'mitzvah kavod, but that's it. Don't do a suda on occasion of that engagement. Clearly, even though you can't do kibbutz during the week in which Tisha B'Av falls out, but Erisin is mutter. Certainly, an almana who can wash her clothing during the first 30-day mourning period, Erusin should be allowed. Answers the Gemara, no, kitanya hi koidim the koidim. When the Mishnah says you could be ma'aris, it's koidim hazman hazeh, meaning before the Shabbos shechal Tisha B'av liyas b'soich. That's what we're speaking about. Before Tisha B'av. Sorry, before the week of Tisha B'av. So let's say from Rosh Chodesh to the week of Tisha B'av, you're allowed to do laundry as well. Al pi halacha. We're machmer, but al pi halacha you're allowed to, right? So during that time, Erusin is allowed because Erusin and Kibbutz go to... So in any case, you have no Kavachomer. Amarava, what do you mean? The Koidim Nami Kavachomer. Even if the Bryce is referring to that period, we still have the same Kavachomer. Look, Uma b'makim she'asor lisa v'litin. Since even during this period, from Rosh Chodesh Av until the week of Tisha B'av, where business is allowed, you don't have to curtail your business transactions. Mutter, sorry. Uma b'makom she'asor lisa v'litin. Mutter li'ares. Since during the week of Tisha B'av, where you have to minimize your business dealings, still you're allowed to be ma'ares. Sorry again. We're going back to Rosh Chodesh to the week of Tisha B'av, right? Rosh Chodesh Av, Mamaten, B'maso Matan, right? Says Rabbi, fine. Let's follow your track. The Brisa speaks about Koidim Azman Hazeh, right? Koidim means before which Zman? We have Tisha B'av. We have the week in which Tisha B'av lands, right? We have before that, from Rosh Chodesh until then. So from Rosh Chodesh until this week, Brisa says, you have to be Mamayit business. Right? But you can still engage. You can still be ma'aris. So although business is asr, but erusin is muta, makam shemuta lisa v'litin. During the 30-day avelus period of the almana, there's no restriction when it comes to business dealings. Certainly, there shouldn't be a restriction when it comes to erusin. Ein addition muta li'aris. Of course, erusin is muta. It's a solid kavachayma. So why does Rav Yossi say an almana should not engage because of evil, because of mourning? That wouldn't preclude erusin. Says the Gemara, you're right. Let's revise, let's modify Rav Yossi. That's not what he meant. Instead of quoting Rav Yossi that kol anashim yisarsu, all women, even those who were previously married to Reuven, can get engaged to Shimon because there's no zera from Shimon, so there's no need to wait 3 months. And on that Rabbi Yossi says, well, yeah, that applies to a divorcee, a grusha, but not an almana because of avelus. No, that doesn't work. Why can't an almana be engaged? Rather as follows: Kol anashim yinasu. Oh, let's switch it around. All women can go and get married right away, no problem. You don't have to wait 3 months. Except for an almana. Oh, now it makes sense. We're talking about marriage. An almana within 30 days shouldn't be getting married. Marriage is simcha, and that's not allowed at that point. So that answers the kasha. But, what are you telling me? Rabbi Yossi gives you a blank check. Any woman can go and marry right away without waiting the 3-month period, which allows you to discern whether she's pregnant, to allows you to identify the upcoming child. Leslie, you're right, he doesn't concur with that. He says it's unlikely, things will get mixed up. You don't have to wait at all. So basically, the way Rashi explains it, there's going to be 3 shittas in the Mishnah, from one extreme to the other. Tanakama will tell us 3 months for all women, no exceptions. Rabbi Yossi says for none. Rabbi Yehuda says, look, in principle, in concept, I agree, you have to wait 3 months, but only when there's a practical concern. So let's say when she was only engaged to Reuven, there's no zera there, get married right away. If she's just trying to get engaged to Shimon, that's okay, there's no zera there. So even if she was already married to Reuven, but she can get engaged to Shimon. So he takes a middle route. Another approach would be, no, la'olam isle, let's Let's assume Rabbi Yossi agrees with the concept of avchana. Typically, there is a 3-month wait period. Okay? Ve'ema, Rabbi Yossi Omer, we'll read Rabbi Yossi as follows. Basically, Rabbi Yossi is going to disagree on one account with Rabbi Yehuda, as we're going to see. Ve'ema Rabbi Yossi Omer, kol arusos grushois yinasu. So instead of speaking about if she can get engaged, and then he'll tell us almana can't, which generates that difficulty. Why would almana not get engaged? There's no problem with that. So we go back to Rabbi Yossi telling us that an arusa can marry. An arusa can marry. You know why? There's no practical concern of confusing the zera. She was never married to Reuben. We'll assume there's no zera there. So, even though she was already connected with Reuben, but she was only arusa to Reuben, then she got divorced. She's not an almana. Because if she was, she couldn't get married right away. Right? That's the problem with the Avelis. So she was engaged to Reuben, divorced. So go get married right away. There's no concern of confusing the zera. That's all he's saying. Says the Gemara, Yachi Hani Rabbi Yehuda. Isn't this exactly Rabbi Yehuda's shita? Rabbi Yehuda tells us, if she was married to Reuben, she can get engaged to Shimon. There's no concern of zera from Shimon because she's only engaged. Likewise, if she was only engaged to Reuben, there's no zera there. She can get married to Shimon. So isn't Rabbi Yossi pretty much repeating Rabbi Yehuda's shita? The din of separation, the din of avchana only applies when there's a practical concern. But now there's one big difference. Nesua li'aris. She was married to Reuven. There's a concern of zera there. Can she go ahead and get engaged to Shimon? Rabbi Yehuda says yes. There's no practical concern of confusion here. So if there's an erison element, whether because she was only engaged to Reuven or only trying to get engaged to Shimon, either way it's okay, as long as it's not marriage on both sides, which could confuse you when it comes to the child. Rabbi Yossi disagrees. He says like this: in concept, I agree with you. First of all, we need avchana. Wait 3 months. Secondly, it only applies when there's a practical concern. So if she was only engaged to Reuven, there's no zera there, get married to Shimon right away. As long as you're not an almana, and then you have a concern with Avelis. But otherwise, it's okay. But if she was a nesua to Reuven, married to Reuven, there's concern of zera there, and she wants to get engaged to Shimon, and she's saying, look, I'm only getting engaged, that's it. No. Engagement can pretty quickly lead to marriage. I don't allow it. I don't allow it. Although on the surface it's okay. She's only getting engaged. There's no zera, but it might lead to a quick marriage. We don't want to allow that. That's the nuance of a difference between Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda. That's it. That one nuance. Rabbi Yehuda savar nesua mutaris le'aris. Rabbi Yehuda says, even though she was married to Reuven, she can get engaged to Shimon right away because there's no zera coming up soon. For Rabbi Yossi savar no nesua asura li'aris. When she was married to Reuven, there's zera from Reuven. Don't even get engaged to Shimon. It might lead to marriage. So stop for a second. At this point, how many shitas do we have? A total of 3. Tanakama says, Havchana is gimel chadashim in all cases, irrelevant of circumstance. Rabbi Yehuda says, let's take a practical approach. Yeah, if she was married to Reuven, she may not remarry right away. But if there's only erison from Reuven, there's no zera there, or she's only approaching Shimon for erison, no concern. Rabbi Yossi says, look, I agree about avchan. I agree to you, Rabbi Yehuda, that it has to take on a practical approach. But nevertheless, she was once married to Reuven, there is a concern of offspring there. Don't jump in and get engaged to Shimon right away. It might lead to marriage. Or another person might follow suit and actually marry. So engagement can quickly lead to marriage. Do you mean to say that that's a fact, that a previously married woman can't even get engaged to Shimon within 3 months? Listen to this price. All women who were once married can go ahead and get engaged within 3 months. min almana v'pnei ha'ibul. Except for the almana, she may not get engaged because of the avelus. V'kama ibul shala. How long does the mourning period stretch? 30 days. V'chulun lo yinasu. All women, even if she's not an almana, she can't remarry. Ad sheyu lahen gimel chadashim. She was once married to Reuben, don't go marry Shimon until you wait 3 months. End quote. It's pretty clear from the Brisa that Erison is totally mutter. Totally mutter. He starts the Brisa with that halacha. Kol anashim is arsu. Right? If it's not a question of marrying once and then marrying again, you're going from marriage to Erison, there's no concern. You just told me otherwise. You just told me that according to Rabbi Yossi, if she was once married, in which case there's a concern of perhaps some latent zera from the first husband, she shouldn't get engaged to Shimon because it can lead to marriage. So tomorrow, hi my kushya, what kind of kasha is this? You can modify the Brisa the same way you modify the Mishnah. Right? Is the kasha from Rabbi Yossi saying, Kol anashim is arsu? All nashim can go ahead and do erison, which is inconsistent with what we just said, that according to Rabbi Yossi, they shouldn't do erison because it can lead to nesuin by them or by others. Well, mi alima masnisin, why is the Brisa any greater than the Mishnah? Do kimna barusais, grushes inasu. We modify the Mishnah as well. That Rabbi Yossi is allowing a woman who was only engaged to Reuven, in which case there's no chashash zera, to go marry. And that's how we modify the Mishnah, right? We're talking about the dafka that case. Hachanami, here is on the Brisa. Modify it accordingly. Instead of saying all women can get engaged, no. Kol arusais. Anisha was previously engaged. Grushes, and then she got divorced. She's not an almana, because she's not an almana, she can't marry right away. So she was an engaged woman who got divorced. You know, so can get married within 3 months. That works. Because if she was only engaged to Reuven, there's never a concern of zera from him, so you're allowed to go forward. But in the reverse case, she was married to Reuven, and there was zera there, and don't go ahead and get engaged, because it might lead to marriage. You see, everybody knows she's just engaged. She has a title. She was an engaged woman, and something happened. They separated, divorced from engagement. It's a different type of thing. There's no market for confusion there. But to allow a married woman to go ahead and re-engage with Shimon, it's going to create confusion. Oh, they allowed her to remarry. People are not going to, differentiate between allowing Eris and allowing marriage. So that's why it's also according to Rabbi Yossi. Elma Sefer. So what's the problem from this bride? This problem is from the Sefer. The Tani, the Brisa says, "V'kulon lo yinasu ad shiyu lahen gimel chadashim." Typically, an isha should not remarry until 3 months. Let's make a diuk. Dafka marriage is a problem because you're running into the second husband and his zera. In subi hudaloi, marriage is asa right away. Apparently, simply getting engaged to Shimon, even after having been previously married to Reuben, that's okay because there's no practical concern of confusion. And here you tell me, according to Rabbi Yossi, it's not so. Erison can lead to nesuin. Amarava tritzu emachi. I'm going to modify the Brisa as follows, and put it in line with the way we understand Rabbi Yossi. The Brisa reads like this: Rabbi Yossi Eimer, Kol arusais grushois yinasu. So right away we're modifying the ratio. An isha who is only an arusa, in which case there's no concern of zera from Reuben, go ahead and get married, no problem. Chutz min almana, of course, except for the almana. V'pnei ha'ibul. Because of the mourning period. By the way, the Gemara is going to ask soon, since when does an Arusa observe Avelis? She was only engaged to him. Okay, we're going to deal with that in a minute. That's the first part of the Bryce. Right? She was merely engaged. There's no concern of Zerah from Reuven. Marriage is okay. But not the other way around. She was previously married to Reuven. She can't get engaged to Shimon because engagement leads to marriage. The Brisa continues, V'kama ibol shala. How long does the ibol stretch? 30 days. The Brisa continues, Unesuais lo yisarsu. Oh, we're changing it again. We're imposing a restriction on getting engaged. If an Isha was already married, there's concern of Zerah from Reuven, don't get engaged to Shimon. Until 3 months. Why? As we explained. Because giving her the license, giving her the heter to do Erusin might lead to Nusur. Okay. So at this point, it's pretty clear. There are 3 Shitas. Tanakama says 3-month wait period in all cases. Rabbi Yehuda says if there's only engagement involved, whether she was only engaged to Reuven, only engaged to Shimon, either way, there's no concern of mixing up the Zerah. It's okay. Rabbi Yossi says, in principle, I agree to Rabbi Yehuda. But I have another concern, which is that if she was previously married to Reuven, don't allow her Erusin with Shimon because it can lead to Nisun. Now comes the kash that we mentioned. V'almana min Erusin mi isla ibul. Why would a almana off Erusin observe Avelis? Only a married woman has to be misabel upon her husband's death, not an engaged woman. His arusa, loy oinen, if he's a kohen, he doesn't observe aninus, the day of the death. He doesn't observe the halachas of aninus. Loy metamilo, if he's a kohen, he can't become tamiter. Right, so oinen applies to anybody, but metamilo. Rashi actually says oinen is a asur and kachim. Yeah, all the halachas of an oinen. Loy metamilo, let's say he's a kohen, he's not allowed to tend to her krura. She's not really his wife. And likewise, v'chein hi lo yonenes, lo metamalo, she's not oinen for him, she's not metamitim. Meisa ena yosha, she passes away, he doesn't have the rights to her estate. Meisu goy b'ksuvasa, if he dies, she collects her ksuva money because that's how he promised. So why would an almana from Erusin not be allowed to get married right away? That's a big problem. On our pshat. Says the Gemara, you know what? Let's go back to square one. Let's go back all the way to the beginning of the sukkah. Let's not modify. Let's not change the lashon of the Mishnah of the Brisa. Let's go back to first base. What does our basic tell us in the Mishnah? Kol hanashim yisarsu. Typically, women can get engaged within 3 months. Why? Like Rabbi Yehuda tells us, it's all a matter of practicalities. You can't jump from one marriage to the other. There's concern about the zera of the arayas. But from engagement to marriage, or from marriage to engagement, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Right? The way we had it originally in the Mishnah. Let's not change any lashon. Except for one thing. Rabbi Yossi says, look, let's not forget she's an avela. She's an avel. Within the 30 days of the husband's passing, she shouldn't even get engaged. That's my chiddush. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, Erusin is not a simcha, that's mutter even for a almana within 30 days. Rabbi Yossi says, no. It's somewhat of a simcha, it's asur as well. The question was, we seem to have a brisa there that allowed Erusin, in Chodesh Av, and we worked out a kal v'chomer, and it should be mutter here as well. We're going to address that question. El Tanohi, in fact, it's a machlekes Tanoim. And Rabbi Yossi will follow the following Tana, who does not allow Erusin, considers it a simcha. The Sanya, Rish Chodesh Vadat Tanis, from Rish Chodesh Av until Tisha B'Av, Ha'am and Matan Mi'eskein, Mi'lisa Mulitim, they cut down on business, or Melibnois, Valentoya, building and planting, U'melei Aris, no engagements, U'melisa, no marriages. Shabbos shechal Tisha B'av liyas b'seicha, the week of Tisha B'av itself, asur l'sapel l'kabes, no haircut, no laundry. Ish aimim kol chodesh asur, and applies from Rosh Chodesh. So we found the brisa which supports Rabbi Yossi. Maskef Rav Ashi, you found the brisa. Who's to say? When the brisa uses the word le'aris, it means actually getting engaged, and that's asur. No, perhaps eris in itself, the formal procedure, it's not a simcha. Dilma l'mevet, so this eris in the asur. Holy eris shaper dami. Maybe the brisa is referring to the celebration, the suda that accompanies the engagement. That's asur. That's a true simcha. But just merely the actual kinyan, the kiddushin, who's to say that's asur? If that's the case, when the brisa says milisa, refrain from marrying, nami, sudas nesuin the asur. There as well, you're gonna tell me, it means don't make the wedding suda, the wedding celebration. Halisa shaper dami, but the actual marriage is mutter. Now there'll be a tremendous chiddush. Says the more you can't compare two things. Marriage is not comparable to engagement. How do you compare? Because simcha, marriage, even without a suda, is still a simcha. That would be asur. But engagement, below suda, without a party that accompanies it, make a simcha, doesn't really generate proper simcha, and therefore that wouldn't be a concern. So bottom line is, according to Rav Ashi, we no longer have a support to Rav Yossi. Sure, the brisa says don't get engaged with a party, but without a party, it's mutter. Rabbi Yossi seems to hold that any type of erisin is asur. We no longer have a source for Rabbi Yossi's sheet. Elam Rav Ashi, I'll give you a good teretz. You know what? There's no machlekes tanaim. Everybody holds that you can go ahead and get engaged without a suda. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. So we had we had a Mishnah on Amud Aleph which says no getting engaged. That's with you could get engaged. That's without a suda, just an engagement, just a ma'aseh kedushin. The brisa here, which doesn't allow engagement, that's with a suda, like Rabbi Ashi says. No, so we have a kasha. We're back to the kasha of Rabbi Yossi. If erisin is allowed during the Zman Avelos and Churban Beis Hamikdash, right? During Chodesh Av, Mishenichnas Av, Matam B'Simcha, erisin is allowed. So why would it be asur for an almana? What's the pshat Rabbi Yossi? You have to find some sort of distinction between the two cases, between an almana who just suffered the loss of her husband and the Zman Avelos and the Churban Beis Hamikdash. Says Rav Ashi, it's a big difference. So you would think the Avelos and the Churban is more chamer, just the opposite. Elam Rav Ashi, Shani Avelos Chadasha. My Avelos is Shana. It's so different. When she's mourning on account of a fresh tragedy, that has to be really observed properly. Going ahead and even getting engaged without a party interferes with the Avelos. It's inappropriate. But the Avelos and the Churban Beis Hamikdash, it's old news. My Avelos is Shana, that's old news. And therefore we're more mekel. Sure, it's serious, it's sad, but it doesn't have the same intensity as her husband's recent passing. It's observed differently. Another chiluk, v'shani avelos to Ravim, avelos to Yochid. It's different. When it's a avelos on the Churban Beis Hamikdash, which is shared by many, and won't become negated by one person going and doing an engagement on the side. It doesn't take away the Avelos mood from Klal Yisrael. It's still there, it's still intact, and being observed totally, as opposed to an individual's Avelos. Not Mana sitting on her own, and she goes ahead and she distracts herself and she gets engaged. That's something which contravenes the spirit of the Avelos that she's meant to be observing. So the bottom line is, sure, during Tisha B'Av, during the Chodesh Av, erisin is mutter, provided it's without a party, but the almana, according to Rabbi Yossi, it's asur. So bottom line is like this: we have three shitas. We have Tanakama, Shloisha Chadashim, Havchana. Waiting applies in all cases. whether it's practically a concern of mixing the zera or not, doesn't matter. Loi plug. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Let's look at it practically. From marriage to marriage, concern, but from marriage to Erisin, or Erisin to marriage, no concern. Rabbi Yossi goes along with Rabbi Yehuda. He just adds one thing. And Almana, wait it out. V'pnei ha'ibul. So bottom line is, we have discussion regarding the Stam Mishnah, which turned out not to be a Stam Mishnah. We discussed the 3-month wait period between marriage and Erisin, where according to some shittas you can be makel somewhat, whether allowing incomplete months or getting engaged on day 90. When it comes to the nursing mother, you have to wait a full period to ensure that you're not endangering the nursing child. And we ended off with a discussion regarding the almana and the chiluk between avelos de rabim and avelos de yachid. B'suras Torah, we should only have simchas and much hatzlacha.